Hi, this is Karen O'Brien, and I wanted to show you something kind of fun because I found a fun tool that might be somewhat useful. So I needed a way to package a map so that some of the data was accessible, but I didn't really want to package it into a PDF because I needed it to have like images and things that were point and click accessible. So I did that using this tool. It's called, let's see, Mesh. It's called QGIS to Web, and it's just a plugin that will package your map on a web browser page. All right, so I want to show you how to use it because it's kind of fun and it's pretty straightforward and easy. So this will just be like developing the web files. I'll do a different video on publishing them online. So we have to first set up the layers list in a manner that we want to see the things that we want to export should be checked. So what we should see here is if we go to the Flow2D settings and we go to advanced layers and click OK, you can see that we want to make sure and uncheck gutters, uncheck multiple channels, uncheck all these things that we are not going to use. And all these guys down here, all these tables, we want to uncheck all this stuff because we don't want to put that on, we don't want to export any of that stuff, it's too big. And then just make the map look the way you want it to look. So I'm not going to export the user channels. I'm going to export the schema channels. And I'm not going to export the user floodplain or hydraulic structures. I will export the schema hydraulic structures. And I will export the user storm drain because it's kind of like a combination of user and schema data. But I won't export the schema storm drain because you don't need it. It's like the exact same data that's in the user one. Okay. And so let's go ahead and get back into this settings and turn these advanced layers off because I've already set it up the way that I want. Now the next thing you have to do is kind of annoying, but you have to take the arrows out of these conduits. So what each of our conduits, or what each of our storm drain links has is multiple. It has two. One of these is arrow like that, and one of them is simple line. So what you have to do with this is you just have to come in here and you select the arrow and you just delete it and click OK. And you do that to all of these layers. And then you'll do that to your left bank channels, and you'll do it to your hydraulic structures. And I think that's it. I think everything else is okay. And so these are what we want checked. We want to export these guys, and we want to export our comp domain. We want to export our grid. We want to export our channel user channels, our hydraulic structures, our levees, just these guys, and our boundary condition, our boundary cells. And then we don't want any of these areas because those aren't really, we're not really using those areas at this point. And we want to make sure that our Google map, our Google satellite is checked, and we want to make sure that we are at the map extent that we want to export, that which is this right here. Okay? So we'll start by opening the tool, and then we need to carefully set up the layers. So it starts with what you would expect to see, except you have to uncheck some of the groups. Okay, so we do want to see our computational domain. We want it to be visible, and we want to activate the pop-ups. We don't want to do boundary conditions. We don't want to do user channels. We don't want to do user areas. The groups, I don't know, they're just automatically checked. Then for the storm drain, so let's collapse this one. For the storm drain, yes, we want our conduits to be visible and we want to allow pop-ups. Same with the pumps, same with orifice, same with the weir, same with the junctions, and same with the outfalls. I don't know why there's a cluster. I don't know what the cluster means. Same with the storage units. And no to the gutters, no to mulch channels, no to floodplain cross sections because we don't have any. No, yes to hydraulic structures. So yes, and then yes to hydraulic structures. Wait, actually, I might have messed that up. No, so we want no because these are the user structures. So no to user structures, no to streets, no to levees, no to elevations, no to infiltration, and now we're down to our schema layers. So let's collapse these guys. Okay, now we're down to our schema layers. So yes to grid, but no to visibility. Okay. And yes to channels, so yes to left bank, yes to cross sections, yes to right bank, no to confluences because we don't have any. No to floodplain cross sections, don't have any. yes to levees and yes visible. And hydraulic structures will be yes and yes. Streets will be no, don't have any. Boundary conditions will be yes, but only the BC cells, okay? Areas, no. Gutters, no. Storm drain, no. Tables, no. Calibration data, no. Let's collapse all those. And sediment transport, no, because we don't have any. And then Google Satellite, yes, and we yes to visible. OpenStreetMap standard, yes, and yes to visible. Open Topo Map, yes, and yes to visible. Actually, no, let's just skip that one because it's not very good. It's not a very good map, so we'll just skip that one. And now we go to appearance, which is, okay, I'm going to turn off the title because it just displays like a bunch of hyperlinks to things that I don't think we need. It's not very good. Abstract, I'm going to say no. I don't really know what that does. Layers list, I say collapsed. Then if you want, you can add a measuring tool, or you can add a address search if you want. This stays at full screen, and this stays at canvas extent. And you can, if you want to be able to zoom past the canvas extent, you just uncheck this guy. If you want to be constricted to the canvas extent, you just check this guy. And in your export folder, you're just going to set, this goes to export to folder because I don't have an FTP site set up. So for now, we're just going to export it to a folder. And this is the folder. And we'll click, and then I don't do anything. I don't know what this is, so I'm just going to leave it that. And I don't know what these are, but if you don't know what these are, you can look them up on the wiki. And then we will go export. And if you didn't do your layers symbology correctly, you might start seeing some red text in here. But if you did set that layer symbology correctly and you minimize or you simplified that layer symbology. Now, I don't know why, but my default browser is Chrome. But I think what's happening is it's defaulting to, I think what it's doing is so you can't see anything and everything's missing. So I believe the problem is that I have some cached data in here that I can't get rid of. So I'm going to close this, and instead I'm going to open Firefox, or Foxfire? Firefox. And since I don't use Firefox all that often, I should be able to go in here and just pop this index.html on here, and that should load the map. It was working perfectly on Chrome a while back, but I don't know, it didn't like it. Okay, so then now that you're in here, you can see your project is now published to a website. And so if you want to take a look at the layers, like say for example you want to hide the comp domain, you can just turn it off. Or if you want to turn the grid on, you can do that. And then if you want to click one of these nodes, you'll see that it'll pop up the attributes of that node. Do the same thing with the lines. If you want to click one of the lines, it'll pop up with the attributes of that line. And then if you wanted to, like, say for example, you wanted to use a HTML or use a file path, like an action on a file path, you could then set up, like say for example, you wanted to show a picture of the inlet and outlet of this structure. Then when I clicked on that structure, it would open the images for that structure. So it's kind of cool in that regard. You could open pictures and things like that. And then here you have a measure tool. So you can measure the length of the area. So let's go ahead and do the length. And let's see, I know this length from here to here is about like 102. Let's see if it's accurate. Yeah, about 102. Okay, so cool. And then if you want to turn off that measure tool, you just click it again. And if you want to do area, you can just change it to area. And then in and out works perfectly. Pan is click the left mouse click and drag. Zoom in and out works. And then left click. I don't know, can you right click? No, you can't right click. All right, anyway, that's kind of a fun thing to do. So I just wanted to share this with you because it's cool.